I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting for February 1st, 2021. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a roll, please.
Here. He's frozen.
He's here.
Gustafson.
Here.
Kenny.
Here.
Howard.
Here.
Sullivan.
Here.
Long.
Here.
7 president.
We have a quorum. While I have a chance, I would like to also advise you that with us tonight, we have Deputy Chief Jason Norton. Chief Thomas is away, and the Deputy Chief is giving us some time tonight to stand in for the Chief. We're really happy to have him, and I'd like to welcome Jason to our meetings. And I believe he'll be joining us. Will you be joining us for a budget meeting too, Jason, or not sure?
Wherever the chief needs me. That's to be determined.
Okay. All right. That takes us to questions and comments and announcements of a general nature. I don't see anyone in our audience, so I don't believe we have anything under that. It takes us to approval of minutes. I would like a motion to approve the minutes for the January 18th, 2021 City Council meeting. Motion to approve. Moved by Alderman Shower, seconded by Alderman Kenny. If none, the roll.
Shower.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Gustafson.
Yeah.
Liston.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Long.
Aye.
7 ayes.
The minutes have been approved. That takes us to receiving the communications. Do any of the aldermen have any communications they'd like to share with the council? Alderman Clister.
Thank you, Mayor. I received 2 pieces of communication. First one is from David Earl from the 7,000 block of Sawyer. Unfortunately, his mailbox was a victim of this weekend's massive amount of snow. So correct me if I'm wrong. Usually the city comes by and will correct those and fix them once they have a chance and once all the snow melts.
That is correct.
Secondly, I received communication from Mrs. Hidzek from the 8,000 block of Sawyer. Some residents that are still leaving out their garbage 24 hours after garbage pickup. So just a reminder, I know you guys done plenty of reminders over the last month, so she just wanted to pass that along. So I'll forward that email to Lisa and take a look at it later. Thank you.
Tom, if you could forward that to me, that'd be great.
Okay. Anyone else have any communications? Alderman Kenny?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just had a communication from Mr. Paul Fong on Bantry Court. With all the snow that we came in, tight cul-de-sac, driveways got blocked in, but there's not a lot that can be done because we have no place to put the center stone. Emailed Chris Strom, emailed Mr. Gombeck, and we were able to get that back up, get answer back out to the resident.
Anything else, Joe?
That's it.
Alderwoman Sullivan.
Thank you, Mayor. Last meeting, I talked about some work that was being done, especially in Ward 5 and my corridor area in the Terra Hill subdivision with Comcast. Though, work continued because they're upgrading lines and cables and fiber optics. But it did become a situation where a lot of people were experiencing outages, especially during the week with working remote and e-learning. So we did reach out. I did, and the city Lisa, Clem, and city staff reached out to our liaisons. They called me right away. And in conversations, we were able, they were getting near the end, but they had about a week's worth of work left. They were able to shift their schedule to start working in the early hours of the morning and, later into the day when school would not be impacted or work. And it definitely has made a difference. But several residents had reached out, expressing concern. And Comcast did say that each resident individually can reach out via their app or by calling to get some type of retribution for the outages and the time.
Thank you, Mary, for your work on that. It's much appreciated. Anyone else?
You're welcome.
All right, that takes us to the mayor's report. And the first item under our mayor's report is our EDC's yearly progress report. You're going to see a PowerPoint. Just a little history here. 2 years ago, when I was elected, one of the things that occurred to me was our need for a economic development committee. I discussed this with Mr. Vanna, and we brought it to the council. We put together an ordinance that created an economic development committee whose primary purpose is to work with the city for maintaining and enhancing the business community. According to the ordinance, the EDC is supposed to give a report at the 1-year mark. The 1-year mark was last June, and we did not meet during the summer. So the EDC did not resume their meetings until September, although I believe they've had this report for a while. So tonight, the Economic Development Committee, with Tina Bilkey as the chairperson, would like to report to the entire city council their work since June of 2019. So with that, I believe am I turning it over to Tina?
Are you turning it over to me? You were kind of frozen a little bit.
Turning it over to you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for attending. It's our pleasure to present the EDC little PowerPoint we put together for you. Our mission is to help create opportunities for economic development through desirable business growth, expansion, retention, and attraction, in working as partners to develop a climate that's conducive in maintaining the quality of life in the city of Darien. We were established in June of 2019. It is for a 2-year term appointed by the mayor. So what we're going to talk about today is the accomplishments that we've made, and Bob Hahn is going to cover that. We're going to talk about the projects that we were involved with, which Nick Pitzer is going to tell you about that. We're going to talk about the collaboration with the businesses and the organizations that we've done, and that Lou Mallers will talk about. And then Angelo Imbrogno is going to talk about our ongoing focus and what we're looking forward to and what our role will be as we continue. And at the end, Matt Weberling is going to take questions and any feedback that you may have. Also, he's going to be watching anything that comes in through the chat box if you have any comments as we go through the presentation. So I'm going to turn this over to Bob to get us started.
Thanks, Tina. I'm happy to be able to give at least the first section of the accomplishments that the EDC has achieved. We were asked to engage, and that our committee did. One of the things that came out was that, as you can read, we needed a consistent process for evaluating economic development projects. And also, as you can read, we did that. We created a standard application form, developed a weighted scale that we engaged city staff in assisting us with, and even the Chamber of Commerce. Then we updated the city website with EDC information with web links. So our connectivity to the business community is now formal, as you requested. The second thing that was important to us was to reach out to all of the businesses, as many as we could. Obviously, the virus limited a lot of the face-to-face opportunities. But you'll hear later that I think the group of us connected with several hundred of the businesses with business licenses within the city of Darien. And then finally, Lisa and I were privileged to be named chairman and treasurer of the initiative for the Census Bureau. I wish I could say I personally did something on that other than lend my name, but that's all I did. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Great. Nick, you want to go over the projects?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? I just want to make sure. Can everybody hear me?
You're breaking up.
Yes.
Am I breaking up?
Yes, you are.
A little bit, yes.
Little quiet. All right. Can you guys hear me better?
A tiny bit, but still not that great.
Let me see what I can do.
He's on the wrong slide is showing.
We need to go to this now. Yeah. This
There we go.
Yes, projects. Thank you.
Can you guys hear me a little bit better or no?
Yes.
Better.
Yes, a lot
All
better.
right, beautiful. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so thanks for having me. I'll quickly break down the projects that the EDC was involved in. As you can read on your slide, first and foremost, we started by creating and distributing and reviewing results from a residential survey, basically assessing citizens' shopping and entertainment habits and their needs and wants. We got great results from this survey, mainly identifying dining and entertainment, whereas 80 and 86% of the surveyed results came in that they were not satisfied with dining and entertainment as far as options in Darien. And vice versa, 86% said they were satisfied with banking and financial services choices in Darien. Second main project, we developed a tier system for business outreach, categorized by business sector and their priority status. This was a main focal point of the EDC. Started with a letter from the mayor, the local business owners, basically just checking in to the overall health of their business, highlighting any current struggles, and really just trying to find out how the city of Darien can help them, succeed in the future. We gave local business owners through this outreach program a chance to voice any concerns, recommendations to the city, and let us know where we could help them as a volunteer on behalf of the EDC. This business outreach program obviously turned into more of a well-being check-in the second quarter of last year when the pandemic hit. I thought it was crucial on behalf of the EDC to reach out to local business owners, especially the restaurant owners in the city of Darien, on just seeing kind of how they were doing, what percentage of their revenue might be down, do they even foresee their business making it through, how could they really rate the city's response to the COVID-19 pandemic, and just basically how we could be there for them, as a volunteer at the EDC and be assistance. The third main project was hearing presentations, mainly from Carriage Greens and other local businesses, and just basically gave feedback to the city on the incentive proposals. We heard presentations ranging from Carriage to Brookhaven, to the Lay School property, to cannabis establishments, Chuck's Express, and Celestine Salon, just to name a few of the proposals. And lastly, we provided comments to cities, businesses, and residential marketing videos created by the new Alki Media Group, and just basically assisted the mayor in those endeavors. So that's basically it for the projects.
Okay, Lou, you're up.
Okay, thank you, Tina. Good evening, everybody. A lot of what Nick has said is really very evident in the support that we have given to all of the stores and businesses in Darien. One of the things that I really wanted to say was the results and the response that we received from everybody that we connected with and reached out to, which is extremely really positive. They were very pleased that the city took the time to reach out to them to talk to them to find out exactly what some of the concerns and the issues were, and exactly what we did to help them. And as I said, we did talk with John Manos with Brookhaven, and you can certainly see what's happening.
Lou, you're coming in and out.
Oh, really? Sorry about that. I'm not sure why. Is that any better?
Yeah.
Much better.
Much better.
Okay, I just guess I had to get closer to the screen. I didn't want you to see my big face. But anyway, Brookhaven has been very responsive, and needless to say, with everything that's going on there. John Manos has been very pleased with everything that we're doing, and being the focal point, or one of the focal points of the city of Darien. I think that's helping tremendously. I had a lot of time to spend with Brian Broderick at Carriage Greens with some of the things that they're looking at. Certainly, what the city did to help them was very well appreciative. Their business is growing. The golf course is doing tremendous. The restaurants are in the process of going through some changes internally there, but it's all very, very positive. And again, Brian was extremely pleased with the fact that we did reach out to them. Chuck Klein at Chuck's had a chance to talk with Chuck. Again, he just couldn't believe how much the city has done to help out, and just very, very pleased. Then April's been very involved in the that effect. But I think the biggest thing that we really need to take a look at is the interest, that positive responses that we've gotten from the businesses. I don't remember the name of the bookstore, Mr. Mayor, but I know you visited with the reused bookstore there over at Chestnut. They were
The
at one point
Frugal
Frugals, thank you. They were at one point being courted by one of the shopping centers on the west side of Mont Road, and offering them a financial opportunity. But after the mayor went in there and spoke with them, they were just so impressed with the fact of what the city has done to reach out to them, that they stayed. So the general feeling from all the businesses that we have talked to is very, very positive, and very, very pleased with everything that we have done for them. And we continue to do that. Okay.
Okay, Angelo.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Angelo Imbrogno. I'd like to discuss 3 areas of our business outreach program, what we're doing currently, and also what we plan ongoing for the future. The first objective, and one of the main goals that the mayor illustrated for us, was to contact as many of our Darien businesses as we could, to one, collect their input on their business needs, their concerns, and also their long-term outlook. So over the past several months, we've been in contact with many businesses and had a lot of meaningful conversations. As you can imagine, the primary topic for 2020 was coping with COVID-19 and the pandemic. I know it was a top priority for Mayor Joe, and a focus that he was really concerned about. He urgently wanted to know how the businesses were being affected by the pandemic. I know he was involved in multiple sessions with mayors from neighboring villages, so he's really concerned and interested in that information. And ultimately, we were able to present that to him so he could present it to the governor. The main takeaway, and many of the members echo this as well, is that so many business owners were happy that we even reached out to them. They were very appreciative, and just to know that we cared and took the time to ask them how they were doing, that was overwhelmingly the number one feedback that we got. And I think it said quite a bit. So that was excellent. Going forward, we want to build on that platform of communication. So for 2021 and beyond, we'd like to continue with those conversations with our business owners. And also, we'd like to extend an invitation to them. So if you're a business owner in Darien, please contact us, contact the city with any questions or concerns that you have, or any feedback that you want to provide. And we can in turn forward that and address those concerns for you and pass them along to Mayor Joe. Finally, the third objective moving forward is that we'd like to get more involved and engaged with the Chamber of Commerce in Darien. And ultimately, the goal is to work together with the intent to bring new and fresh ideas to continue the purpose of the organization, which is to be a useful resource and a vibrant network for businesses in Darien and the surrounding area. Now I can pass it over to Matt for any questions or concerns that anybody has.
Hey, Tina, could I just say one quick thing?
Yes.
One of the things that was extremely well received was the tax rebate that we provided to the businesses within Darien. That was a big gift from their perspective, something they did not expect, but were very, very pleased. So that's something I think that's helped doing what we're trying to do here, and continue to help to grow the businesses and retain the businesses that we have in Darien.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So at this time, we'd like to open for any questions, comments, concerns, feedback. Does anybody have any particular questions about what we've done, what we intend to do in the future, how we've done it? We're open to any questions. Thank you. Mr. Gustafson.
Yeah, this is Alderman Gustafson. Recently, the state of Illinois announced now that they're getting back on track to the issuance of additional marijuana licenses. What is the EDC now plans on attracting those businesses into Darien?
I know that there was kind of a wide variety of views about that. It seemed to me that the city was generally open to it, but I feel like there was some just concerns, a few concerns from members that have talked to friends and neighbors. I know that this is a very contentious issue.
Yeah, but it was approved, so the door is open. So now it's just a matter of, we're looking at $700,000-$900,000 of annual revenue that we're looking to be able to get from those businesses, if not more. And I think it would just be ridiculous for us now to turn our back to that when we've got a place like the Steak and Shake building sitting there, prime piece of property, ready for that type of business to come in and not attract and go after that type of business.
I very much understand your perspective. I know that in our initial conversations, location was a very, very large conversation point. The suitability and appropriateness of the location was a major factor. I know that the city has obligations that are growing into the future related to just general operating expenses as well as some pension expenses. And I would very much tend to agree with you. I'm just going to share a personal view. I would tend to agree that
we've got a desperate need for a new municipal services building. And in order to fund that building, the marijuana revenue could easily fund Dan's brand new building. So I think we've got to take a real hard look at, getting that revenue.
I think part of the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lou.
I think part of the issue, and this came up at our Planning and Zoning Commission, when we first sat down to take a look at this, there were a number of locations that were requested or were nominated for us to take a look at. Some we passed on, some we didn't pass on.
Lou, you want to speak closer to the computer?
Some we passed on, some we didn't pass on. But I think the key thing here with the city approving the marijuana opportunity, the information was
can't hear him.
You're cutting out again. Sorry.
That information was given to the state of Illinois, and the state of Illinois has the responsibility now for determining where those locations will be. So at this point here, I think, our contact really needs to be with the state. Not sure where they are with this.
Well, the state of Illinois, they're just going to issue the licenses, and it's up to the people who get the license to be able to go wherever they want, wherever they can go.
Well, they only have 500 licenses that they're issuing throughout the entire state.
Right. The state's not going to mandate where they go.
No, but the
Okay. First, Mr. Vanna, and then Alderman Blunt. Brian, you're muted.
Yeah, the CDC and with the fine presentation tonight listed a lot of things they were doing. And Eric, I think your question was specifically what are they doing for the marijuana? But they haven't done, I mean, they have not been given the responsibility or even asked to look at specific businesses such as the one you are mentioning or any other one. So I think that's more of a discussion at some point for the city council to decide on how we're going to recruit all businesses and what are the priorities. You know, at this point, I know Dan has been in contact a couple of businesses and those that have been on hold. But again, I don't think that's anything that the EDC has actually focused on yet. And were you asking them to do that, or were you asking?
I mean, they're out there supposed to be going at and recruiting businesses into Darien. Well, that is a business to recruit. I don't think you're going to find a bigger revenue generator than that piece of business. Let's be honest. You're not going to find it.
And yeah, I just wanted to add that definitely in the beginning when this was being voted upon at the Brookhaven Plaza and everything. So basically what will happen is we work with the mayor to, get the latest on what is happening with businesses and whatever the council is doing as well. In addition to what, if we find a topic, we'll be listening to the council meetings to see where things go. But, and I know that in the beginning, we talked a lot about marijuana. Like I said, again, that was pretty much before we got, we did the approval as a city to allow them in. But really, since then, to Brian's point, we haven't done too much with that. And we do work with the city for some of those agenda items. But other businesses, I wanted to share in our November 20th, 2019 meeting is the full-blown survey that we did, which, talks about what the residents do want in Darien. And there was definitely some comments revolving around the marijuana, mostly not happy about it, not wanting it. But again, it's something that, since that is definitely a sensitive, but it is a high dollar amount, that is something we would work with the city on.
Yeah, and Dan's been contacted by a few places, if I'm correct, Dan, and stuff. So I think there's definitely interest there, depending on if those specific people end up with a license. That's the big open question right now, is who gets the license.
Who gets them? And I know that other neighboring communities are, opening and all that. So that's all pressure too.
Right. Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of competition.
Mr. Vanna, he already answered my question, so I have no questions. So.
Okay.
What did I answer, Lester, son?
You were saying the role of the EDC, like they haven't crossed that bridge yet. It's not really their responsibility. So yeah.
Any other questions? Alderman Klistad.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank the EDC, Blue Mallards, Nick, and Tina, everyone on the team. This past year has been very challenging, and for you guys to still go out and get this done, I am very impressed. The question I have for you, and I believe it was mentioned in the survey feedback, and let me make sure I'm understanding that what you said is that 80 to 85% of people would like to see more restaurants or different restaurants. Is that what the community was saying earlier? And what can we do to bring different restaurants as well? Because I get that quite often, that we have too many chain restaurants. They'd like to see things similar to Chuck's, maybe Darien Chop Suey, some of the Thai food. So how do we get these unique restaurants, maybe that are not non-branded, into Darien? What does it take? Because it seems like that's what residents are asking for.
Yeah, so one of the things that we got related to feedback and what we've discussed was one of the disadvantages of Darien is that we don't have the downtown on the railroad tracks. And so I think Tom has small children. I know Lester does. People like me. I know that I personally would like to see something where you can kind of dine and entertain in Darien for the evening without having to go out of the town. And one of the things that we were focused on was, you were very much accurate on the non-chain restaurants. People want the mom and pop owners. They want the personality. And one of the things that we were kind of discussing was maybe, not necessarily going to like a Gibson scale, but something more in the kind of upper middle range, white tablecloth, things that, and on the other side of that would be more related to family entertainment, having an option. I know that there's kind of a fun zone right up on 63rd and Downers Grove, and there's all kinds of other, Darien doesn't have as much space as a Lombard or a Downers Grove for these types of things, but we were really all in agreement with, the dining and entertainment options and going for making Darien a little bit more of a destination, and then also drawing people in, not only providing more for the residents of Darien, but also providing more to draw in other people from surrounding communities. So I think that, we're very much on the same page as far as wanting to see Darien step up a little bit on the dining side, maybe add an option for family entertainment. And so,
if I can add to that too, I think that, what we got to the point where we're identifying things, we're talking to these businesses. We've got a couple leads where, some of these businesses are saying that they want to either expand or contrast, or looking to invest in maybe a restaurant or something in town and are looking for vacant places to do that. So we're kind of got our ears on that. But also pre-COVID, we also have some connections on the team where, we know some of the property managers that own our centers in Darien. So the problem became, or one of the challenges became, is then COVID hit, and there's not a lot of interest, I would imagine, seeing what their fellow restaurateurs or entertainment establishments are going through. There's not going to be a lot of appetite at the moment, but what we'll do is we'll get these leads that we're doing. We have, like I said, people that can connect to property managers, the people that we're talking. And then Brian Gay, who is not able to be with us today, he brings a wealth of background on his Invest Aurora. So he's been sharing his best practices also of how they're managing in Aurora, and also how they're trying to expand some of the retention and the, bring your business to Darien, for example, to do different reiterations of the Shop Local program. So, to answer your question, we have all these resources that we're working with, but as far as hitting that target right now with COVID, we haven't gotten there. But we continue to, explore and, try to fill in that gap that we definitely have identified.
Well,
I just want to give one example of a conversation that Dunkin' Donuts, as we know, is moving into the outbuilding at Brookhaven, and one of the family that owns a small kind of a quick service restaurant just outside of town was looking at putting kind of a white tablecloth Italian concept in there. But one of the things that they were looking for was, and the reason that I think the city shied away from it, was they were essentially looking to not really put a whole lot of their own personal assets into, moving forward or taking on kind of a large expense as far as starting something new. And then obviously with the pandemic, starting a restaurant is a very, very challenging endeavor.
Okay. And then I noticed, I was reading the news last week, there was a indoor soccer stadium or indoor type of facility that didn't pass DuPage County. Is that something that would be I guess some entertainment, or is there opportunity maybe to pursue that one by chance? It's very similar, looks like, to like the Compass Arena in Willowbrook that has food and beverage indoors and athletics, which would be sort of family entertainment and food. I seen that didn't get support. Maybe that's something that would fit Darien potentially. I'm not sure, but I've seen that in the news recently.
Well, Tom, to answer that, that was a private enterprise.
Okay.
That business was not going to operate for the general entertainment of the public. They were going to run that as a training facility with teams coming in there for practices and for training. And that was going to be a money-making endeavor for them and not necessarily an entertainment location for the community.
But I know that what we're doing is, monitoring some of these bigger box areas, these bigger square foots, and trying to see what we can do with that. So, absolutely, that's definitely on the top of our list. We want more entertainment, something for kids. Soccer is huge, and I know that the Sportsplex, it used to be a little more soccer area, and now it's mostly hockey. So I think that there's definitely some room for growth.
With that, I'm going to conclude our. Mary, you had a question? Sorry. Can't hear you, Mary. Mary, you're muted, Mary.
My bad. I usually don't mute, so I didn't know to do that. I just wanted to say it's been my pleasure to serve as the City Council liaison to the Economic Development Committee. They're a very dynamic group. They've had some great dialogues. They're looking to do a lot of great things, and I think it's going to be a huge asset to us to have such an active, engaged group working on our behalf.
And I want to add, first of all, on behalf of the EDC, it's been a privilege to be on the committee, and we want to thank the city staff, particularly Brian Vanna and Lisa Clem, for all their help. And then, of course, Mary Sullivan, you've been instrumental in helping us. You always bring great ideas to the table, too. So it was all good. And what I want to say is, remember, this is the first time we've had this. So if there's any later thoughts with comments or branching out of where you see you want us to go from here, we're definitely welcome to that. But one of the things that we've identified is more reporting and bringing that back to the city and to the residents. So things like maybe more stats that we can provide, so we can show what kind of investors maybe have grown with the city. We want to kind of do maybe some more trending on vacancies or occupancies, and maybe break them out by office versus retail, and just get a little more metrics surrounding the whole city as a whole. So if you have anything to add, please do so. Again, it's our first time through this, and then the pandemic hit, so we really hit the ground running, and then switched gears a little bit into the retention stage, because that's very important. We don't want to lose anybody, and hopefully they can hang on until we get this vaccine going, and things are starting to open a little bit. So I hope and we pray, and we got some feedback that some of these businesses are hanging on. So we really hope that they will survive in the end, and that would be excellent news for us.
I would just like to commend the EDC for their work. I've had the opportunity to join you for almost all of your meetings. I think last year during COVID, the fact that you were going out and you were creating businesses, you were of great assistance to me. Mr. Vanna and I several times would sit down and talk about how I could call these businesses on the phone and I can go out and visit some, which I did. But you guys actually went out there and met with probably several hundred business owners within Darien. It is a service that we could not do on our own. So that was an invaluable service to the city of Darien. And I think the fact that you went out there and let them know that we were concerned about them really spoke to how Darien really is as a city in terms of concern for its business community. And I think the reason a lot of them are still around is because of the work you did and possibly the rebate and some of the work that we did. So congratulations to you. I hope, as you said, Tina, it's a 2-year appointment. I'm hoping all of you decide to take another 2 years. So we'll be talking about that in the near future. Many thanks to you. And if you want to stay with us for the rest of our city council meeting, you're welcome to. If not, you have my thanks, and I think you have the thanks of the city council.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And I do want to just say real quick that, last but not least, the mayor really, you were so invaluable by attending, I'd say, most of these meetings, if not all. And, that's what made it beautiful too, is because you were gracious of your time, to be able to, bridge that, what the city is doing, to communicate that to EDC. So we were on the cusp of some of these ideas coming in. And, that just shows that you took your own time, and you had a big heart in this. So special thanks to you.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you, group. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Have
you,
a nice
everyone.
evening.
Thanks, guys.
Guys. That takes us to back to our mayor's report. I want to give a brief update on
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
program. As most of you know, last week we hit Tier 1. Tier 1 is within Phase 3 of the Restore Illinois plan. There's Tier 1 through 4. We're currently in Tier 1. Tier 1 allows for all bars and restaurants to close at 11 p.m. and it allows indoor dining, 25 guests for 25% capacity. It allows an establishment offering indoor service. It says they must serve food. It provides for reservations only with 2-hour maximum duration, maximum 4 people per party, and all bar and restaurant patrons should be seated at tables. As far as bars are concerned, no ordering, seating, or congregating at a bar. They're not supposed to have bar stools. Tables should be 6 feet apart. No dancing or standing indoors. Reservations required for each party. And while some of these sound restrictive, you have to remember we haven't had indoor dining for a while. And so now we're going to be able to go back to indoor dining. And if you talk to some of our restaurant owners, even 25 guests or 25% capacity is going to help them. So these are restrictions, to be quite honest with you, that came about as a result of our Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus Task Force, which I had the privilege of serving on. And what we did is we created a statement of interest that we submitted to Governor Pritzker's office. And what you see here are the recommendations we made to allow restaurants to open up again, to allow bars to open up again. So these are standards that we created. Now, we are currently at 7.1% positivity rate. We need to move to 6.5% positivity rate or lower to go into Phase 4. And Phase 4 provides more allowance with regard to restaurants, bars, and other activities within the city. And we're hoping that within a week or so, that we have that positivity rate down below 6.5 or at 6.5. We meet the standards for ICU and we meet the standards for hospitalization. We are not quite there with the positivity rate. So we're hoping that within a week or so, we can probably announce that we're now Phase 4 and our restaurants and bars could provide more services and our community could provide more services. So we're very pleased with that. And we're hoping that people continue to wear their masks, continue to practice social distancing, and hopefully we'll be in Phase 4 in about a week or so. With that said, I'd like to give you an update on vaccinations. And I'm going to read a statement here. That I realize there is tremendous confusion in our community regarding one's ability to apply for, be scheduled, and have the vaccination administered to them. Our office here at City Hall receives calls each day from residents, especially our seniors, asking when, where, and how they will get their COVID vaccination shot. We try to provide the best information available to us through the DuPage Health Department. I meet via a Zoom meeting each Monday morning along with other mayors as we receive updated data and have an opportunity to ask many of the questions that our residents are interested in hearing. Now, I realize that many residents are not necessarily interested in DuPage County's vaccination rates or plans. They are more interested in when they're going to be getting their shots. Just the same, to better understand when you become eligible, it helps to understand the DuPage County Health Department's plan for getting the vaccine into arms as quickly as possible. So here are some answers to those very concerned residents. DuPage County has been receiving and distributing an average of 14,000 vaccines per week. As of January 29th, approximately 65,102 doses have been administered to DuPage County residents and 17,989 have been fully vaccinated. Now, you're going to kind of laugh at this next figure. That translates into 2.11% of our DuPage County residents being fully vaccinated at this time. And as hard as it may be to believe, that 2.11% is one of the highest vaccination rates in the state of Illinois. Each county in the state has their own unique plan for distributing and administering the vaccine. Some counties have very centralized models where residents go to one location for shots. You'll find that up in Lake County. While others, such as DuPage County, have what's called a decentralized model, where we currently have 96 approved sites that have or will be receiving the vaccine for distribution. As of January 25th, DuPage County began administering the vaccine to individuals 65 and older, along with frontline workers. The population for the 1B category, which includes frontline workers and 65 years of age and older, is 268,000 people in DuPage County. Now, if DuPage County received 18,000 doses per week, this population could be inoculated before the end of April. But one of the major issues is we don't receive 18,000 doses a week in DuPage County. There have been weeks where we've received 5,000 doses, other weeks where we received 12,000 doses. A lot of this is dependent on our getting the doses. And I can assure you, according to the department, that every dose of vaccine that we've received in DuPage County is being used. The county receives its share of the vaccine through the state and disperses it to hospitals, pharmacies, outpatient clinics, large employers, as well as distributing some of the vaccine through their own facility. Now, they are going to be opening up a centralized vaccination center on the DuPage County Fairground, which are right there by the DuPage County Center on County Farm Road, where they hold the DuPage County Fair. And previous to that, that was a test site where people could drive through and get tested. Well, now they're going to turn it into a vaccination site. So who do we call? Well, the county has a site that individuals can go to and register. And a lot of you have seen that site advertised in our Darien Direct Connect. But if you go to www.dupagehealth.org/COVID-19 vaccine, it'll take you to a site where you can register for the vaccine, for an appointment for the vaccine. Individuals should also be calling their primary care doctors to see if they can schedule an appointment. And they can also call Joel Osco, Mariano's, Myers, Walgreens, and CVS. Now, here in Darien, Hinsdale South and Hinsdale Central will be vaccine sites. They will serve teachers, teaching staff, and frontline workers in the communities they service, which includes Darien. When we obtain more information on this, we will get that information out to you as soon as possible. And I can't say whether or not those sites will remain open for 65 and older or other populations. I can just tell you that right now it will be teaching staff and frontline workers. The other thing is we have an additional concern for those seniors who do not have computers and do not have the luxury of electronic communications. And a lot of the seniors who call, who get a hold of me, they tell me they don't have a computer. They don't get direct connect. They're just wondering when they're going to get their vaccine. So we're reaching out to the township office to see if they can be of assistance in helping this population through the program. And in addition to that, the county is creating a program for accessing to bridge technology limitations in mobile clinics envisioned as a means to vaccinate residents with transportation limitations. So the county is also creating a program, but we're hoping to work with the township. Now, if residents are not currently receiving our Darien Direct Connect, we ask that you sign up for our weekly newsletter that will provide you with weekly updates regarding our programs, as well as information regarding COVID-19 and the county's vaccination program. Now, please understand, we're in phase 1B, 65 and older frontline workers. And again, if we were receiving 18,000 doses a week, that population could be vaccinated by probably the beginning of April. That means all of you who are in the 18 to 64 population, you are in phase 1C. And we cannot get started on that group until we have an increase in the number of doses that we're receiving. And once we have to get through the 268,000 that are currently in the 1B category. So I realize there's a lot of frustration there. People call me up and say, well, my friend in California, he's 55, he got his shot already. Why haven't we got our shot? Why don't you fire all the bums in DuPage County? These people don't know what they're, and I get complaints about the Department of Health, and yet on a week-to-week basis, the plan is consistent. The plan appears to be working. It's the amount of doses that we need to get in order to assure that we're going to be able to get vaccinations out to people. And believe me, I've had that frustration as well. I called Jewel. I registered through Jewel, and you can't get an appointment at Jewel through April. So, I mean, there's a lot of people are doing the same thing. They're calling their primary care doctor. Their primary care doctor is saying, call this number, call that number. I may not have the vaccine to give to you. While others are being told that they can get the vaccination through their primary care doctor. So is that the DuPage County's health department's fault? No, it's the inconsistencies that exist in terms of how it's being administered by some of these other groups. That's what the issue is, and it's the lack of doses that are available. So please be patient. DuPage County's plan is well thought out, and as we begin to receive larger amounts of doses, we'll get through the process more quickly. And hopefully, I've provided some information tonight, which is going to help people. And I realize I didn't give you a telephone number to call. I didn't make assurances that you're going to get a vaccine next week or a shot next week. And I want you to know that there is a plan, and that plan can work if we're patient and if we get the doses that we need to get through the different groups that we have to vaccinate. So I want to thank everybody for their patience. Anybody have any questions for me? Okay. That takes us to the city's clerk's report. Joanne?
You had a question from Tom Belzer.
Oh, Tom Belzer. I'm sorry, Tom.
Just out of curiosity, everything I've read is that there's a lot of people that are afraid to get the vaccine. So at what point, or is there a plan on saying no one else in this group wants it anymore? I mean, you used a number of 200 and some odd $1,000 or 200,000 people that they're in the 1B group. How do they know when no one else wants it from the 1B group?
Well, Tom, what they're doing is the Illinois Department of Public Health has a dashboard which shows a breakdown of all the vaccinations that have taken place in every county throughout the state of Illinois. And DuPage County has a similar dashboard. And the figure that I didn't give you is we have 43,000 healthcare professionals that were in the 1A group, and 80% of them have been vaccinated. But we're going to go to the one that also started administering to the 1B group, because now we've hit that 80% threshold. So DuPage County is going to follow the same procedure. When we see the percentages, we're at 60, 70%. They'll start administering to the people in 1C as well. But if you go to the DuPage County website, you'll see that dashboard, and it'll actually show you the vaccines that are going out, who's getting them. They're tracking it by gender, by zip code, all that. That data is all there. Can I help you out?
Yes.
Anything else? All right, now we'll go to our city clerk. Joanne?
I have a couple of items. The Darien city offices will be closed on Monday, February 15th in honor of President's Day. And our next city council meeting will be on Tuesday, February the 16th, here in the council chambers.
City administrators report, Brian?
No report, Mayor.
All right, department head information and questions. We have Deputy Chief Jason Norton here tonight. If you have any questions for Jason, Dan?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to say just real briefly, with this weekend storm, as you could tell, a lot of residents have piled snow up against, on each side of their driveways, which makes it a great opportunity for children to build forts. So just want to make sure everybody's, somewhat conscious, and parents, make sure that you watch your children, especially if they're playing next to these forts, adjacent to the street. And, sometimes the plows do come by, and God forbid if one of these children are within there and a snow plow comes by and has the opportunity to collapse these forts that some children will build in there.
We also received some notice that if you have a fire hydrant on your property, if you could dig that fire hydrant out so that at least it's visible to the fire department.
Correct. Yes, that'd be greatly appreciated as well. Residents that are able to do so, we do ask of them to help us clear the fire hydrants. We are also in the process of clearing out fire hydrants, along with the fire department typically helps us along with that task. And, right now we're in the process of also clearing the sidewalks, which has been a little bit of a challenge with the amount of snow that happened at once.
Alderman Gustafson?
Yeah, and Dan, we should probably also mention that it's important that residents do not blow the snow out into the middle of the street when they're clearing their sidewalks and driveways.
That is correct. And while we're done, we try to complete the operation during the late night hours, early morning hours. And yes, unfortunately, some snow does end up back in the driveway. So please don't put the snow back in the street, because it does create a hazard, especially if it tends to thaw during the day and then refreezes at night, because we're not going to come back and basically clean that up. So, when it's out there, it does become a hazard.
You can get ticketed for that, correct?
I was going to say that is correct. And either we, the city staff, will call the police department when we do witness something to that effect. And residents are encouraged also to call on residents that are throwing the snow into the street.
Any questions for Dan or for Jason? Jason?
One thing, Mr. Mayor, Chief Thomas asked me to bring up that we have a traffic crash analysis for Cass Avenue and South Frontage. He just wanted me to mention that. I believe Alderman Plistic had asked about that previously in the year. I'll send that out tomorrow to everyone on the board here. That way they can review that and ask some questions further, maybe next time around.
Thank you, Jason. Anything else for Jason? All right. We'll move on then to our treasurer's report. Treasurer Corn.
Thank you, Mayor. This evening, I'm requesting council's approval of warrant number 2021-19 in the amount of $277,824.22 from the listed funds, and payroll for the period ended January 28th in the amount of $248,118.49, for a total to be approved of $525,942.71.
Do we have a motion to approve? Alderwoman Sullivan, seconded by Alderman Kenny. Any questions for the treasurer? If none, the roll.
Sullivan?
Aye.
Kenny?
Aye.
Shower,
Aye.
Vaughn,
Aye.
Gustafson,
Aye.
Plistic,
Aye.
Belzak,
Aye.
7 ayes.
The warrant's been approved. Standing committee reports. Do any of the aldermen have anything to offer the council regarding their committees? Alderwoman Sullivan.
Tonight's admin finance committee was canceled, but we will be starting budgeting workshops for next fiscal year. The first one will be on Wednesday, February 17th at 6:30. I believe it'll be via Zoom. And then it'll be following the weeks after every Wednesday at 6:30. And the Economic Development Committee meeting is scheduled for this coming Thursday, February 4th at 7 p.m.
Brian?
Mayor, one correction. The meetings, they're starting on a Wednesday because of the President's holiday or President's Day holiday. Then they'll actually resume on Tuesdays after that. Our schedule, will be posted on the website also.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. I mixed that up. That's what I meant.
Just to clarify things, I know a lot of you are probably anticipating when we might be going back to in-person meetings. I was going to offer any of you an opportunity to attend in person for our budget meetings. I know Alderwoman Sullivan will be present here in the chambers. If you feel comfortable coming in and participating for our budget meetings in person, you're welcome to be here. I'm also looking at the possibility of reinstituting in-person city council meetings beginning in March. I have not reached a definite decision on that, but I'd like to move toward that. But as far as the budget meetings are concerned, you are all invited to be here in person if you like. And for those that can't, we'll make accommodations for that. Any other questions? Okay. I see Treasurer Corrin with his hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to announce the Police Pension Fund will be having their quarterly meeting this Thursday night, February 4th, 7 o'clock. I believe it's via Zoom, but there is availability across the street in the police training room. I guess if anybody shows up in person, which nobody usually does, but it'll be Thursday night.
Anyone else? Alderman Kenny?
Yes, sir. Police committee meeting is scheduled for 6 p.m. on Tuesday, February 16th via Zoom, pending agenda items.
Thank you. Alderman Belzak, are you scheduled this month for municipal services?
We are tentatively scheduled for the 22nd. We'll know for sure on the 16th when we have our next meeting.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Anything else? All right. Questions takes us to questions and comments, agenda related, and again, there's no one here in the audience. So we go to old business. There being none, we go to our consent agenda. Item A, consideration of a motion to approve an ordinance amending the Darien City Code for parking restrictions 931, a text amendment on vehicle idling. Item B, consideration of a motion to review and approve architectural and design guidelines for commercial and office developments. Item C, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution awarding a contract for Homewood Tree Care Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $147,000 for the city's 2021-22 tree trimming and removal program. Item D, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Rags Electric Incorporated for the 21 street light maintenance contract beginning May 1st, 2021 through April 30th, 2022. Item E, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the following private property rear yard storm water management assistance projects, and they're listed there, items 1 through 10. Hinsbrook Avenue, 1517 25 73rd Street, 818 71st Street, and 7009 to 11 Sierra Court, 7914 to 79 818 Adams Street and 7917 Pine Court, 8360 to 8372 Kramer Lane, 8005 to 8009 to 8 plus 8013 Sawyer Road, 1530 Claremont Drive and 1601 Holly Avenue, 618 Maple Avenue, 8607 to, I believe, 8619 Clifford Road, and 8509 to 11 Glen Eyre Road. Those are the 10 projects. Item F, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a contract extension with Denver Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $221,250 for the 2021 crack fill program. Item G, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor's approval to enter into a 5-year engineering agreement with Christopher B. Burke Engineering for professional services related to a controlled wetland management firm and vegetation management at the Dale Road Basin in an amount not to exceed $27,750. Item G, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor's approval to enter into a 5-year. That was repeated. Item H, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement for professional services between the city of Darien and Christopher B. Burke Engineering for the Terra Hill management and monitoring of 10 acres of wetland and natural areas within the Terra Hill subdivision. Item I, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for the 2021 street maintenance project between the city of Darien and Brothers Asphalt Paving Incorporated, following schedule of pricing. Base bid $1,218,851.55. Alternative 1, patching $89,100. Alternative 2, aggregate shoulders $24,000. Alternative 3, 67 alignment project $96,818.75 for a total of $1,428,770.30. And item J, consideration of a motion to approve the recommendation to release executive session minutes that no longer require confidentiality. Do I have a motion to approve our consent agenda?
I do.
Alderman Shower, seconded by Alderman Gustafson. In the roll.
Shower,
Aye.
Gustafson,
Aye.
Listic,
Aye.
Vaughn,
Aye.
Sullivan,
Aye.
Penny,
Aye.
Belzak,
Aye.
7 ayes.
The consent agenda has been approved. It takes us to new business. There's one item. Consideration of a motion to approve a resolution approving the purchase and installation of a new server and an upgrade to the hardware and software to 2021 standards in an amount not to exceed $50,000 with AIS Incorporated. Motion to approve. Alderman Vaughn, seconded by Alderman Belzak. Any discussion? Alderman Vaughn.
Thank you, Mayor. I had an opportunity to speak with John from AIS, the consultant, along with Brian Vanna, our city administrator. It looks like when I first saw this, it seemed like they were just giving us a server for $50,000, and that kind of alarmed me. I was like, $50,000 for a server? No way. But after talking to John, what it looks like is that they're giving us a full upgrade on our infrastructure. They're not only replacing, getting us a new server, but the software and the hardware that comes with it. They're going to give us they're beefing up our server so that we can be able to be in good shape for the next 7 or 10 years. So we shouldn't see this item on any of our packets, for 7 or 10 years. So this is definitely something that I think that's needed. I think before the city was running out of server space and disk space. So this kind of beefs up our server and our infrastructure where we won't run into those problems where we're running out of space. And with all the new components that we're getting, with cameras and and other things that's constantly grabbing data from us or putting data on our servers. This should be suffice for the next 7 or 10 years. And actually, it looks like we're coming under budget as well to $43,000. So as long as they stay on track with the implementation plan, I think we'll be coming under that $50,000 to $43,000. So it was really, so I think it's a good thing.
Thank you, Alderman Vaughn. Brian?
Yeah, if Alderman Vaughn could just touch on, there's two parts to this, obviously the hardware and the labor, and we reviewed labor rates, and John gave you a good idea of what they're looking at. So again, I just want to make sure the council's confident that those labor rates are good and they're in line with where they should be.
They gave us a flat rate, so that was a good thing.
Lester, thanks for spending that time to investigate that. We appreciate
it. You're welcome. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. If none, then the roll.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Plistic.
Aye.
Gustafson.
Aye.
Sullivan. Schauer.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
7 ayes.
The item has been approved. It takes us to questions, comments, and announcements of a general nature. Do any of the aldermen have anything they want to share with the council tonight? Alderman Kliskov.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to take a second to thank city staff and planning and zoning for putting together the architectural standards for the city of Darien. That's a goal I've had for many years, and through council support and your support and everyone else, that we put together a plan that puts together a cohesive look for buildings that are going to be built in the city of Darien, provide guidelines for the next century, and keeps us updated and competitive to other buildings that are being put around us. So I think it's a great job. I'm glad that went through. A lot of work went in on city staff. They studied neighboring towns, what they did, and incorporated the best practices here for the city of Darien. So I'm really proud that we got that done. So thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Anyone else? Alderman Gustafson.
Yeah, just a question for Dan. I saw that there were water tank inspections that were done. Can you kind of just give us an overview of what the results were, and if there's any need to put budget numbers now into next year's plan, and what the timing of next paintings and stuff?
Sure. And for the rest of the city council members, over the weekend, Alderman Guston had emailed me in regards to water tank inspections. Every year we complete it's basically a 15-point test or survey that a company comes out and basically assesses our tanks. What they look for, number one, is cathodic protection. I don't have the whole list in front of me here, but there's a series of things that they look at. Again, one of those is cathodic protection. Without not getting into what each individual item does, that is one component. They look for inside the tank when they're up there to see if there's any signs of deterioration potentially being rust and or paint that's flaking, or any potential signs of, I'll call it deterioration in general. Also, sometimes what will happen is the roof will start to dimple, so they look at the roof structure, so on and so forth. Most of the reports that came back on the 3 tanks, there is additional inspections that need to be looked at. We did put those items into the budget already. Some of those items are, in which case they actually send divers down into the tank to determine whether or not the paint is still, if the adhesion on the paint is still good. There's a combination of what's referred to as a zinc primer and a paint that's FDA approved, so on and so forth. Like I said, I won't get into the details of all that, but yes, we do have items that are going to be upcoming for the budget in regards to the water tank system.
What about timing of additional paintings? When are we going to get scheduled to get hit with that?
Really, we're not going to see the painting come up unless there's something detrimental to a report that is brought up. Not that I see that. I will probably next year we'll begin to budget for the 3-year outlook in regards to the painting of the water towers.
So you're happy with what the results were of the inspections,
At this point, yes.
but we still have some to go?
Yes.
Yeah, something.
Okay.
Brian?
Yeah, Dan, you are requesting the budget, and we had it in last year and ended up taking it out. Cleaning of the exterior of the tanks also. Occasionally you'll look up and you'll see the tanks are dirty or moldy, and that's exterior. And that's one of the things that will be coming forward in terms of the tanks, this upcoming budget request.
That's true. And that's a great example. That's one of the items that they'll also review. Our company or consultant will review.
Anything else? Anyone? I'd like to mention that again, City Hall is now open. We've been locked for a while. These residents would come into our foyer and drop things off in the drop box. The door is now unlocked. City Hall is open for people to come in and come to the front window. That's also an opportunity for them to buy their 2021 vehicle sticker through the Darien Rotary, which is available here at City Hall. It's a donation of at least $3. We're hoping that people take advantage of that and provide the Rotary with the funds that they utilize for their backpack program, where 1,200 children are fed every 6 weeks on a Friday afternoon. So we're looking forward to people having the opportunity to actually come in and buy those stickers. It's just a reminder that those stickers are available. If there's nothing else, can I have a motion to adjourn? Alderman Kennedy, seconded by Alderwoman Sullivan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, folks. We'll see you. Take care and be safe.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.